Pep Guardiola is the best manager in the world. But did you know he started off as a youth academy coach? Well, today I'm doing the same as I'm starting my journey at the very bottom, managing a youth team and working my way up to coach some of the best clubs, sign the greatest players, and win the Champions League to become the world's best manager. But of course, right now I have zero experience as a manager, but regardless, I have gotten 3 incredible offers to become their youth academy coach. And the first offer actually is Chelsea Football Club. Now, Chelsea have one of the best academies of all time. There's probably a dozen youth coaches in that club, and I will never get promoted to a first team or impress other clubs for my first managerial job. And the second offer I received is arguably the best academy in world football, and that is the Ajax Youth Academy. These guys have produced talents like Luis Suarez and Johan Cruyff, and I could potentially manage the future greats of this sport. And I think the final offer I've received is the perfect one, and that is Southampton Football Club, my favorite club. They just got relegated down to the championship. I think here easily I can impress some of the best clubs in world football, or even get upgraded to become Southampton's first team coach eventually. So as I take over the Southampton Youth Academy, currently Southampton do not have a manager right now, as Will Still just got sacked. Maybe, just maybe, if I could win this youth tournament impressively, I could get that first team job and try to take Southampton back to the Premier League. Man, I can't believe I got my first managerial job here at the Southampton Academy. However, a huge opportunity has opened up as Will Still has been sacked. If I can somehow win this youth tournament, maybe, just maybe, I'll get the first team job. However, the question is, can we win the youth tournament with this squad that we have available to us? Well, luckily, it seems like we do have some talent. Ollie Coleman, 17 years old, 6'7", a brilliant center back. Will Cook has a potential from 68 to 94 and is already very quick for his age. However, there is one problem I did notice. We have one defender, and of course, it's our 6'7" center back. Can we win a youth tournament when we have no defenders? But I guess there's one way to find out, as this will be our lineup for the first game against Wrexham. And quickly, Wrexham got a shot that was saved by the goalkeeper. But up next, surprisingly, our center back had a shot on target, but it was saved by the keeper. And this game was extremely close as Wrexham got a goal, but luckily it was offside. And finally, our center back had one last opportunity, which sadly he missed, which means we're going to a pen shootout. And to kick off the penalty shootout, our youngster did go ahead and put one in, as Wrexham missed their first penalty. And the second penalty was scored again by our youngster, and Wrexham missed the second penalty in a row, as we had the opportunity to win it, but sadly we missed it, as Wrexham ended up scoring their penalty. And now it was up to our 6'7" center back to give us the victory. And if Ollie Coleman scores this, it's all over. Can the center back put it away? And yes, he does! I win my first ever professional game in a pen shootout. That's not a great performance, man. Now, boys, there's clearly a problem that we just won in a pen shootout, and Coleman, our center back, was our best attacking player. So I think we need to make some changes here. Let's bring off Cook and let's bring on Lamb, who's a 68 overall. Why wasn't I starting him earlier? As in the semis, we're facing Sheffield Wednesday. And now it's Ollie Coleman on the ball with a brilliant through ball into Lamb. Looking to cut inside here and get a goal. Finesse shot. It's brilliant. Straight away, we get a goal. Lamb making a change already. And straight after that first goal, we had a huge opportunity to end the game, but sadly couldn't put it away. But then Coleman had a huge opportunity. Youth Academy looking for the cross. Coleman. And Lamb into Coleman, and it goes in. The 6'7" center back scores a header. Brilliant. He's been brilliant so far. And the game comes to an end. We're going to the final. I think I made the correct changes. So, boys, it's now time for the final against Ipswich. And I think it's because of my brilliant changes to bring in Lewis Lamb. And, of course, Ollie Coleman has been an incredible talent so far. But can we go ahead and win this youth tournament? And hopefully I get promoted to become the Southampton manager for my first ever professional job. And now it's Lamb on the ball with a brilliant through ball into Alexander. Cuts back, gives it back into Lamb with a shot from there. It's brilliant. This guy is a right mid, but he has the finishing of a world-class striker. And after that first goal, Lamb was not done yet. Lamb into Coleman. Coleman with a brilliant through ball into Lamb once again. Can he go ahead and finish this? And he does. 2-0. Surely this youth tournament trophy is ours. And yes, the youth tournament has been won. But the question is, will I be selected to become Southampton's next manager? And yes, I have been selected, getting my first ever pro job as Southampton manager. Yes, I have done it. I have become a pro manager for Southampton. I love this club. I cannot one day to be managing the world's best sides, signing the world's best players, and becoming the world's best manager by winning the Champions League. Make sure to subscribe and comment down below what player I should sign in this journey. But of course, boys, we have a lot of work to do. This is the team I will be taking over. Remember, this team just got relegated from the Premier League. But of course, I need to do 2 things before I even begin, and that is to promote Lewis Lamb to the first team, as well as big man Ollie Coleman. And I think this is the formation I want to go ahead and make famous. the 4-1-2-1-2 wide, as I love having two strikers as well as that shadow striker at cam. And currently, I think this is going to be my best lineup out of players that we do have now. And yes, that means the likes of Lam and Coleman will not be in the starting 11 and will probably be loaned out. And the good news is we do have 24 million to sign on players, and there's a lot of fixes I can make to this side. Now, currently, I am at Southampton. I am a lower division manager, but I will slowly be climbing up the ranks, eventually becoming a UCL winning manager. And as of right now with this team, I do want to maintain their identity of using young players, mainly from the UK. And I think in order to do that, we need to go ahead and sign a left back, a brand new right back, and a brand new striker to play next to Jay Robinson, because I want this guy to be a superstar because he comes from the youth academy. And guys, I think I found the 3 perfect players to sign for Southampton. The first is right back Alfie Gilchrist. He's still 21 years old at 71 overall. The second player is Oliver Scarles, a good 19-year-old left back who is already at a 70 overall. But the big man I want to sign is Troy Parrott. He literally just scored a hat-trick to give Ireland hope to go to the World Cup, and also scored 2 goals against Ronaldo's Portugal. But the problem is he's going to be a lot of money. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to afford him. So I went ahead and made my first signings as I brought in Alfie Gilchrist for 3 million plus Mads Roslef. I brought in Oliver Scarles for a straight swap deal for Wellington, the Brazilian left back. And luckily, I had enough money for 13 million plus Adam Armstrong. I brought in the Irish hero, Troy Parrott. As good as he is, I know one day we'll be signing the likes of Kylian Mbappe or maybe even Lamine Yamal. And now this is what our starting 11 is looking like. It's looking absolutely brilliant. But like I mentioned before, currently I'm a lower league manager, and in order to go to my next phase as a manager, I must go ahead and get Southampton to a promotion playoff final. I don't have to promote them, but as long as I get them to the final. And surely if I do that, I will impress some amazing football clubs around the world. But I also, of course, hired some of the best scouts I could, put development plans on all of my players as it's time to make my professional managerial debut, weirdly against Wrexham, just like in the Youth Academy tournament. Can I go ahead and get my first ever victory as a manager? But this game did not start off well, as Wrexham had an opportunity that was saved by Bazunu, and had a second shot that was saved once again. But sadly, Bellis gave away a penalty that was put away by the Wrexham attacker. I conceded my first ever goal to a mistake from our center back. But the domination did not stop there, as they had another shot that they just missed, and another opportunity that hit the post. But unfortunately, after another missed shot, we give the ball away, and Wrexham score a second. But Edwards makes a mistake, and in 20 minutes, we're down 2-0, man. But finally, in the 34th minute, we had our first attack. And here comes Southampton. First attack of the game. It falls into Troy Parrott with a finish and goes in. That is why we signed them. We needed quality. Up top, 2-1, baby. But Parrott went on to prove why I signed them up. We're looking to equalize the game. Jay cuts back. Brilliant through ball into Troy Parrott with a finish and goes in. Troy gets his second goal on his debut. One more and we get our first ever win, man. Come on. And in the dying minutes of the game, I had the chance to win my first ever football game. Our winner gives it into Finazaz, who gives it to Jay Robinson, and it goes in. With only 8 minutes left to go, surely that is the winner scored. But the Southampton Youth Academy graduates. And the Red blows the whistle, the game's over. I win my first ever game as a professional. We'll be winning the Champions League in no time. Oh my days, I can't believe it. My first ever victory. This is the type of manager I want to be. I want to make sure that my team has the mentality of never giving up and playing until the final whistle. That's how I'm going to become a popular manager. That's how I'm going to win the Champions League one day. But before we continue, these are some of the players that I went ahead and sold/loaned out, just so you're aware who has left the club. And we have now reached the end of the season, and some of our players have been insane. Troy Parrott got 23 goals, which is incredible. Samuel Edozie got 10 and 2, while Finazaz got 10 and 8, and Chi Charles got 9 and 13. But Southampton wonder kid Jay Robertson got 8 goals and 14 assists, really excelling in that false 9 position. And now this is what our starting 11 is looking like. Robinson went all the way up to a 70, while Troy Parrott is now at a 77. Oliver Scarles went up a +5 to a 75, while the rest of the side is growing quite nicely. And no, sadly, we just missed out on the playoffs by 2 positions, man, in 8th place. However, there's some great news, as Ollie Coleman went up a +12, and Lewis Lamb went up a +6 to a 74. They will be involved in the first team next year. And sadly, to kick off season number 2, I was right, as Taylor Harwood Bellis has gone to West Ham, Gavin Bazunu has been poached by Everton, and Finn Azaz has gone to Nottingham Forest. 3 Premier League sides taking 3 of our best players. So now this is what the team is looking like. Coleman was a like-for-like replacement, but we don't have a center attacking mid in the entire squad. And let's not even talk about the goalkeeping situation. We need to make some incredible signings here. But the good news is we have 40 million to spend on those replacements. And I did find the 2 perfect replacements replacements. For 13 million, we brought in a 76 rated Michael Cooper from Sheffield. And for 15 million, we brought in a 73 overall wonder kid in Chris Rigg. And taking a look at this side, this team should definitely be going to the playoff final. So I can go ahead and move up the ranks as a manager and attract some of the biggest clubs in world football, or even promote Southampton and take them over in the Premier League. And it's another brilliant season from Troy Parrott, 26 goals and 1 assist, while Fellows and Edozie got some more goals. But Jay Robinson was incredible, 11 and 17, and Chris Rigg seems to have been a great signing. And let me just tell you, this team is no longer a championship side. This is a lower end Premier League side. And yes, we have done it. We didn't promote automatically, but we finished in 4th place, which means we're in the playoff positions. And in the semifinals, we will be facing Sheffield United over 2 legs. And of course, it won't be easy with the likes of Tom Cannon and Callum O'Hare having brilliant seasons. So it's now time for the first leg. Let's see if we can go ahead and take a good lead for the second leg. And it's a 3-0 loss as Cannon, Campbell, and Davies put us 3-0 down for the second leg. And 3-0 down going into the second leg. I'm very positive that this team could get a lot of goals at home. However, I may have to make some substitutions at halftime to bring in some energy, because scoring at least 3 goals is still going to be difficult. But regardless, I need to win this game to impress some of the world's best teams. And at the start of this game, it was all Sheffield, as they had an opportunity that was saved by Michael Cooper, and then the corner that was saved by Cooper again. And Chris Rigg had a 1v1 opportunity that he somehow missed, but thankfully Troy Parrott put one in. A brilliant ball into Jay Robinson, looking to get a goal back into Troy Parrott with a shot. It goes in. It's now 3-1, 2 goals to at least equalize this tie. And it is now halftime. We're still 2 goals down. I said we need some energy. Tom Fellows isn't the quickest man in the world, so we're gonna go ahead and bring on Lewis Lamb, the guy who I managed in the youth academy. With that 89 pace, hopefully he can change the game and help us get 2 more goals. But straight after that substitution, we had a game-changing opportunity. Can we go ahead and already get a second goal back? He crosses it in into Robinson. It goes in. I thought the defender was gonna block him there, but it's 3-2. We're now 1 goal away from equalizing that tie. And well, let's just say bringing on Lamb was a genius move. He go ahead and create an opportunity. Is anybody gonna help him? It's a cross all the way into Jay Robinson. Takes a touch and it goes in. It's a brilliant pass from Lewis Lamb. It's an even better goal from Jay. For his second, we've equalized. And only with 9 minutes left, this club showed my mentality. Into Samuel Edozie with 8 minutes left to go. Can we go ahead and find a winner? He's looking for that cross. He finds Coleman. Oh my days. Coleman, the center back from the academy, has potentially sent us to the playoff final. And the whistle has been blown. We're going to the playoff final, which means I am no longer a lower end coach. Surely I've impressed some top division football clubs. And boys, that does mean we can now start applying for jobs, as we have become a great manager already. However, the job here at Southampton is not over, as we're facing Brentford in the playoff final. But the question is the job too big? Are the lights too bright? Or can I deliver on the biggest game of my career? And straight away, Brentford scored a screamer. Oh my days. That is the best goal I have ever conceded. This is going to be a tough game. And straight after conceding, we had a golden opportunity that sadly hit the post, but had another chance to equalize the game. Into Troy Parrott. Can we go ahead and do it this time? And yes, he does. It's 1-1 in the playoff final. But Brentford had another dangerous attack that just went wide, as Troy Parrott helped us take the lead. Can we go ahead and take the lead? He cuts to his left foot, finesse shot. It goes in. In the 27th minute, things are looking great for Southampton to go back to the Premier League. Unfortunately, the fairy tale came to an end as Brentford scored 1 to equalize the game, and then scored a winner to send us off. Brentford take the lead once again. It's 3-2. How do we let this slip, man? And it's over. Sadly, Brentford kept their lead, and we will not be promoted to the Premier League as Brentford lift the playoff trophy. I hope this doesn't disinterest the teams that were originally gonna want my signature. And after the playoff loss, I took a press conference where the press did ask me, Mr. Salinas, you've done a great job here at Southampton, but rumors are saying you'll be leaving the club very shortly. Yes, it is indeed true. I've loved my job here at Southampton. It is my favorite club in Europe. However, it is time for me to go. I have aspirations of becoming the world's best manager by winning the Champions League one day. And I think the journey of Southampton and I has come to an end as I look to go ahead and get a job elsewhere in a first division. But of course, boys, now the question is, what job should we apply for? Who is going to accept us? So I did mention the top division, but sadly, I am still not ready for the Premier League as nobody is interested, and maybe it's because I haven't done a good job enough. But what about the second best league in the world here in La Liga? It looks like we're very unlikely for most of these positions. I can only apply for jobs of teams that went down to La Liga 2. However, boys, there are 2 available positions predictions with the likelihood of being possible to getting hired. The first one is SV Darmstadt in the Bundesliga, and the second one is Cremonese, who finished in 16th in the Serie A. And it does seem like both clubs have accepted our offer. The question is, should we join Darmstadt, who are looking to avoid relegation, so the expectations are lower, or join Cremonese, who want us to finish in mid-table? It's a very difficult objective, but it's high expectations and could give me some good experience. I think the offer I'm going to take is going to be Cremonese in the Serie A. So now as I join the Serie A and Cremonese, I will be playing against some of the best teams of all time. Yes, I have done it. I have joined a top division club in the top 5 league as well. I know this Cremonese side might not be as good as I think it is, but I will get a lot of experience and more importantly, will shock the world to get a bigger job in the future. And as we join Cremonese, I can't lie, this team is looking extremely poor. However, there's a huge lad by the name of Carl. For some reason, he has left Bayern Munich to join full-time Cremonese. But like I said, the rest of the side is not looking too good. We need to hope we have money to spend. But the great news is we have 30 million. That should be enough for 2 signings to drastically improve this side. And I have found the 2 perfect players, both under 30 million. The first one is Sebastiano Desplanches, a 75 rated goalkeeper. He will definitely help us avoid relegation. And former Real Madrid player Alvaro Rodriguez, who's now at a 75 overall, doing pretty well for himself. And these signings are important because we're now a top division manager. And if you want to become a manager for a top 5 team in any league, we cannot be relegating with Cremonese. And luckily for 13 million each, we have brought in Sebastiano Desplanches for the keeper position. And of course, former Real Madrid player Alvaro Rodriguez to become our new number 9. And just with those 2 signings alone, our team is looking so much better as we aim to finish in the higher end of mid-table. But it's now time for my managerial debut in the Serie A, and it's against Juventus. This is probably not going to end well. At the start of the game, Juventus looked dangerous as Mitoma just missed a shot. But we got our first chance as Cremonese manager. Who's looking for a through ball? He finds Alvaro Rodriguez, the brand new number 9. Can he finish? And he puts it away. The wonder kid with an assist and the debut. And the new signing with a debut day goal. We're 1-0 up against Juve. After that goal, unfortunately, it was all Juve as Juris equalized the game. Then they had a penalty that was put away. And Jonathan David went on to score a third. And finally, Juve scored a 4th goal. We have gotten destroyed by Juventus. And the referee blows the whistle. I lose my first game as Cremonese manager. I know it is Juventus. But if I ever want to become the world's best manager and win the Champions League, I need to be able to get results against big teams. Man, I can't believe we got destroyed by Juventus. I know they're a 10 times better team. I need to be doing special things. If not, I'm gonna be like every other manager and just be unknown for the rest of my career. Let's take this season to improve this Cremonese side, and next season, I have to shock the world. And at the end of the season, the goals have been shared in our squad. Alvaro with 17 goals, Carl with 14 and 12, Soto with 10 and 12, and this 31-year-old striker with 10 goals as well. And the growth of this squad is looking pretty good. Rodriguez now at a 78, Carl went up to 77, and Desplanches is the one that shocked all of them. And boys, it seems like we did our job. We finished in 8th place, which is mid-table. But I think we overperformed just a bit to not finish from the 12th to the 14th range. But like I mentioned before, we're still a top division manager. That is nothing special. I think next season, we need to finish in a European place or even win the Coppa Italia to somehow shock world football. And to kick off season number 4, it's not looking good as we only have 17 million to spend on transfers. I'm not sure that can help us finish in Europe or win the Coppa Italia. I can't lie, boys. I think we need to make a sacrifice, and that sacrifice has to come in Leonard Carl, one of the best wonder kids in world football, as he is worth 68 million. If we can sell him, we can sign some amazing players in each position that will help us go from a top division manager to a top 5 manager in a top 5 league. And sadly, there he goes for 85 million. In fact, he is going back to the Bundesliga to RB Leipzig. I'm gonna miss this wonder kid, but now we are 85 million richer. Man, it sucks we had to get rid of Carl, but if I ever want to become a Champions League winning manager, I have to make the tough decisions, and this was one of them. But now I can make a bunch of signings, and we can definitely shock the world this season. And now with Carl gone, this is what the team is looking like. We definitely need to replace him. Another number 9, preferably another center back, and maybe one fullback. And boys, let me tell you, I've made some great signings. For 14 million, we have brought back Leone to Italy. For 17.4 million, we have brought in Vinicius Tobias, who used to be at Real Madrid. For 26 million, we got Italian wonderkid Bafundi. And for 16 million, another former Madrid player in Iker Bravo to lead the line alongside Alvaro. And the brand new signings have arrived in the squad is looking so much better. I think this team is good enough to shock the world by either qualifying for Europe or maybe winning the Coppa Italia. But it's time to see if I made the right signings against Atalanta, a team that will be qualifying for Europe. And early on, here comes Cremonese. It's a ball into Alvaro Rodriguez, through ball into our Ukrainian right mid. He squares it into Pafundi with a shot and it goes in. 5 minutes in, we take the lead against the Italian Giants. But that wasn't the only goal, as in the 55th minute, we scored yet again. And we clearly finished off the game as we beat Atalanta 3-0. 3-0, we've actually thumped one of the best Italian teams in the league. The referee blows the whistle. We pick up 3 points against a good team in Atalanta. Surely this should prepare us to shock the world this season, so I can go from a top division coach to a manager who's managing a top 5 club. However, we are close to the end of the season and my dreams are not coming true. With 2 games left, we're sitting nowhere near the European spots. However, there is good news as we are in the Coppa Italia final, but it's going to be against Juventus, a team we couldn't beat last year. And let's just face it, this team is world class, the likes of Yuris, Mitoma, even Alejandro Balde sitting on the bench. I don't think we're upsetting the world and winning the Coppa Italia this season. And it definitely doesn't help that Jonathan Davis, the top goal scorer of the competition, has scored a whopping 32 goals for Juventus this season in all comps, while Balde, Yuris, and Coop Miners and Conceição have been cooking as well. But regardless, I must find a way to beat Juventus to win my first ever trophy, to impress some of the best clubs in Europe for my next job. However, straight away, Coop Miners gave Juventus the lead as we get our first chance of this game. Papani with a great ball into Alvaro Rodriguez, lays it up into Iker Bravo, it goes in. Bravo picks up the ball, it's 1-1. We can still shock the world, man. However, Juventus still looked dangerous as David almost put it away, as we had an opportunity to take the lead. Cremonese looking to take the lead. It's a through ball into Alvaro. He beats the defender and it goes in. How have we done it? We have taken the lead against Juventus. But the old lady weren't ready to give up as they had a shot. It was a great save from the Splanches. But sadly, Juventus went ahead and equalized the game. After so much defending, Juventus still bagged the equalizer. And with our backs against the wall, we had one last opportunity to win the Coppa Italia. We need to score a winner. We cannot go to extra time against Juventus. It falls into Iker Bravo. He's a defender. 1v1 with a finesse. Let's go. With 10 minutes left to go. This mentality of this team never gives up. And we may have just won my first ever trophy. And it is confirmed. The referee blows the whistle. We lift the Coppa Italia. The world has been shocked. And surely I am no longer a top division manager. And I'm on my way to becoming a top 5 manager in a top 5 league. I'm just curious if any of the big clubs are interested in me. And straight after the Coppa Italia victory, I am interviewed, basically asked, congratulations on your first ever trophy. Does your future lie here in Cremonese? Well, first of all, I want to thank the club, players, and fans for all the support, and I couldn't have done this without them. But I've mentioned before, I have huge aspirations to be a UCL winner and become the world's best coach. And I think I have done my very best here at Cremonese. I will be keen to leave the club if any big offers come in. But if they don't, of course, I will remain here as long as possible. And what a season it was for our players. 15-1 from Rodriguez, 15 goals for Iker Bravo, 10-4 for Sukhanov, 9-11 for Pafundi, and 4-7 for Vinicius Tobias, our right back man. I can't lie, I think we've done a brilliant job here at Cremonese. Just take a look at the growth of the squad. This Splanches is now a world-class goalkeeper, man. But unfortunately, of course, we finished in 11th place in the Serie A, but I still think I did just enough to get an offer from a top 5 club in a top 5 league. But of course, the question now is to see which jobs are available in the top 5 leagues. And if we take a look at the Premier League, for example, I am certain to get every single job because of how good I've done. However, and the first club that is possible, it is Liverpool. If I declare interest, they might come back and want to hire me. But a second option we do have is the Olympic Marseille job. The job is available apparently. We can go straight away to the second best team in France. But when it comes to the Bundesliga, the job of Bayer Leverkusen is also available, man. We have so many options. And it seems like the likes of Juventus and Inter Milan are very insecure with the jobs of their current coaches. I could stay in the Serie A and coach some of the best teams in Italy. And boys, it seems like 4 different clubs accepted our offers, and that is Liverpool, Inter Milan, Bayer Leverkusen, and Olympique de Marseille. The only one was Juventus. I'm just not sure which club I should go ahead and pick. And boys, I have made my decision. I will be joining Inter Milan, and that is for a couple reasons. The reason I didn't take the Liverpool job is because I think it's an endgame deal, where I will be managing in the best league in the world, expected to win the Premier League, and the Champions League in the same season. I don't think I'm ready for that yet. They did finish in 3rd place last year. If I want to impress some of the best clubs in world football like Barcelona and PSG to eventually win the Champions League, I must get Inter Milan back to the top and win the Serie A title and maybe the Italian double. And I have now arrived at Inter Milan, and this is the squad that we are working with. I can't lie, they have some incredible players. They have 2 world-class wingers in the likes of Bradley Barcola and Giovanni Quenda, and of course a world-class captain when it comes to Alessandro Bastoni. But I can see why they're not the best team in Italy anymore. They only have 1 number 9 in the entire squad, and it's Esposito. Carboni will be playing out of position. Other than Bastoni, their defense is looking either old or very weak, as well as the goalkeeping position. But when it comes to transfer budget, we only have 62 million, and I think the 2 new signings I want to make are both ex-players of mine. The first one being Giovanni Leoni, which we literally played with them last season. And the second one being Troy Perry. Just take a look at him, man. 27 years old in his prime at an 85 overall. But before I signed those 2 for 20 million, I was able to get 85 rated goalkeeper Bento from Bayer Leverkusen. And finally, for 20 million plus Luis Enrique, we brought in Giovanni Leoni. And for 20 million plus another winger we had at the club, we have brought in a prime Troy Parrott. And now our new signings have joined the side. This Inter Milan side is looking so much better. However, I completely ignored the fact that we have 1 left back and he's a 71 overall. However, I found something interesting. We all know Pep Guardiola and other managers have forced players to play a specific position. For example, like Zinchenko going from a midfielder to a left back. And I think I want to do the same thing. And something very interesting I found out is that if we put Davide Fratesi at left back, he only goes down to -4, which will make him a 79 overall. I think I'm going to train him and try to make him one of the best left backs in the Serie A. However, 16 games into the season, we're currently sitting in 5th place. Nowhere near the league title as of right now. But I do have my first big game as Milan manager, as it's my first ever Milan derby. I must win this game. Can we go ahead and take the lead? Lays it off into Troy Parrott to finish it, and he bangs it in. 15 minutes in, we take the lead against Milan. And straight after that goal, we continue to dominate as we had a chance, but it was a great save from the Milan keeper. But Tyler Dibbling put us 2-0 up. And we had one last chance to finish off the game. Now in the second half, here comes Tyler Dibbling through ball into Bradley Barcola to end up this Milan derby. Scores it all the way into Parrott, and on accident, it goes in. It's a 3-0 lead. This game is over. Hopefully, this could put us back into the league title race. And the whistle's blown. We secure a very important 3 points. But hopefully this team has built enough chemistry and we can push for a league title race. And straight after the game, I am given an interview and I basically asked, so far this season, you haven't done what you set out to do, and that is bring Inter Milan back to Italian success. Well, Mr. Pressboy, it has not been an easy job. This is my biggest job of my career. But I think after this win in the Milan derby, I think this team has built enough chemistry. And very soon, Inter Milan will be champions of Italy again. And we are now in the final day of the season, and we're sitting in 2nd place. Only 2 points behind Juventus, who we're facing on the final day. And to the surprise of nobody, Kenan is one of the top goal scorers, only behind our very own Troy Parrott. But like the last time, this Juventus squad really did share the goals this season. It's not going to be easy to beat them on the final day. However, they aren't the only ones, as Parrott has 32 this season and 29 with Esposito. If we're gonna win any league title this year, it's gonna be because of them too. But this game started off as Juventus, as they had an opportunity that was saved, and another chance that went wide, and even a 3rd chance that they failed to score again, until we finally had a chance. Into Tyler Dibbling, through ball, all the way to Troy Parrott, and it goes in! Literally our first attack of the game, and we make it 1-0. As of right now, we're Serie A champions. And straight after that goal, we had another opportunity to score, but failed, as Juventus won a penalty, the chance to take away our title, to ruin our dreams, as he goes to the right-hand side. Great save from Bento, man. However, straight after that penalty miss, Juventus went on to equalize the game, but luckily, Tyler Dibbling gave us the lead again. But Juventus were not ready to give up, as they were very close to scoring a goal, but it was a great save from the keeper. And then we had a huge opportunity to secure the Serie A title, but we just missed, as there was one last opportunity in this game. But now it's Francisco Conceição looking to equalize the game with 6 minutes left to go to ruin our dreams, and it goes in. There's 5 minutes left. We're not gonna win the Serie A, man. Come on, how do we bottle it? But it wasn't enough. We're not winning the Serie A title, which means we're still a top 5 manager in a top 5 league, man. And this is what our team is looking like at the end end of the season, a huge amount of growth for some of our players. However, Leone and Tyler Dibling have not grown as much as I would want them to. But surely in the new season, we'll make some more signings and win the Serie A next season. And now in the brand new season, we do have 87 million to spend. We can sign 2 amazing superstars. So we'll be winning that Serie A title this year and maybe the Champions League. And boys, let me tell you, I made 2 amazing world-class signings. And the first player I brought in for 40 million is an 88 overall Nico Schlotterbeck from Dortmund. And for 40 million plus Tyler Dibling, we have convinced Kenan Yildiz to join Inter Milan, as I think he could be the one to give us the Serie A title and maybe the Champions League. Yes, finally, I have been able to sign superstars. Nico Schlotterbeck and Yildiz are gonna change everything. You know what? Screw the Serie A. Not only am I gonna win that, but I'm gonna try my best to win the Champions League, because if I don't, at least I'll impress the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid. And guys, just take a look at this team. We have some of the best players in the world here. Like I mentioned before, I'm not just aiming for the Serie A. I think we can win the Champions League this season. And that would jump us from a top 5 manager in a top 5 league all the way to the world's best manager. And 31 games into the season, we're sitting in first place. But we're tied with AC Milan. The league title race is going crazy right now. But when it comes to the Champions League, we finished in second place in the group stages, as we destroyed Real Betis in the round of 16. However, in the quarters, we'll be facing FC Barcelona. But of course, let's focus on what's in front of us. And this is the FC Barcelona team. Osimhen, Ansu Fati, Ruben Diaz. I don't see Lamine Yamal absolutely anywhere. But let's go ahead and see how this first leg goes. Can we go ahead and take a lead going into the home leg? And no, we lose 2-0. As Fermin and Casado get the goals to take the lead. But going to the San Siro won't be easy, as some guy named Christian Martinelli has 18 goals and 2 assists, while Lamine Yamal and Carlos Moreira have also been incredible for Barcelona. But regardless, it's the most important game of my career. I must win tonight if I ever want to win the Champions League. And the second leg has kicked off. Yildiz gives the ball into Troy Parrott. Troy Parrott gives it into Esposito. Can we go ahead and get a goal already? Troy Parrott beats a defender. It goes in already. 5 minutes in, Troy Parrott has given us a goal back. And after that first goal in the second half, Kenan Yildiz scored the goal to equalize the tie, as a chance of the remontada was there. Back into Esposito. Back into Parrott. Back into Esposito. Into Parrott. Into Yildiz. Touch finish. It goes in. The remontada has been completed, and it's all because of our new signing, Kenan Yildiz, man. And yes, the whistle has been blown. We're going to the semifinals. Surely we can go ahead and just win the Champions League. But boys, in the semifinals, we're playing against a PSG. And just take a look at this PSG side. Desiree Doué, Endrick. They got Alisson Becker in goal, and even got Rodrigo Mora on the bench. This won't be easy. But let's go ahead and see how this first leg is going to go. Please, let's not take another loss here. And it's a 2-2 draw, as Troy Parrott and Yildiz get goals on our end. But the talent doesn't end with Desiree Doué. They have Bukayo Saka, 14 and 13, Manu Purata, whoever that is. But if you scroll down just a little bit more, they have Rafinha, man. I'm not sure if we can win this second leg. And as the second leg began, we had a chance to take a lead, but we failed. But then we got a penalty. And our penalty taker is Troy Parrott, our number 10. We signed them at our first club. Can he give us the lead? And no, it's a save by Neri. But after that pen, momentum shifted as PSG went ahead to take the lead. But luckily, we gotta go back to equalize the game again. The best signing I've made in my career, Parrott gives us the equalizer again. But sadly, right before halftime, PSG took the lead once again. However, in the second half, Bradley Barcola missed a golden opportunity. And if we didn't score this chance, it would all be over. And now it's Kenan Yildiz, brilliant through ball. Esposito lays it off for Troy Parrott with 7 minutes left to go. It goes in. It's 4-4. This is why you never give up. One more goal is all we need. But unfortunately, this year wasn't the year. Into Rafinha, 1v1 Manu Purata. We cannot concede now. It falls into Rafinha, who gives it to João Neves. Get the ball out of him. Vitinha gets rid of the defenders. It's still Vitinha, 1v1 with a shot. It goes in. It's over. 3-2. In extra time, we get knocked out, man. Come on. It should have been us in that final. And the referee blows the whistle. PSG are going to the final as we get knocked out. This close to progressing to the UCL final. But at least there's good news, as we do win the Serie A title, as well as the Coppa Italia. That immediately makes me to a manager that can compete for the UCL. So that means there's one thing left to do, and that is to win the Champions League. And what a season it was for our players. 34-1 for Parrott, 26-12 for Yildiz, game-changing signing. 24-8 for Esposito, 14-6 for Barcola, and 10-1 for left back Fratesi. And guys, I cannot lie, this team could have not been any better, but that has gone down significantly, but this team should have won the Champions League, man. So of course, we did our job and won the Serie A and Coppa Italia with Inter. We can go to a bigger club in world football or stay here at Inter Milan. And when it comes to La Liga, it's very clear that the FC Barcelona job is available. So it's either I stay at Inter Milan to win the Champions League or go to Barcelona and win it there. And my decision has been made. In the new season, I'm staying at Inter Milan. And to replace Nicolo Barella for 100 million, bringing in an 88 overall Pablo Barrios. And let me tell you, our team no longer has any weaknesses. By the end of the season, I'll become the world's best manager. And when it came to the group stages, we finished in first time this time around, ahead of Liverpool and PSG. And in the round of 16, we beat Borussia Dortmund. In the quarters, we beat Juventus. And in the semifinals, we got our payback against PSG, as we're now in the Champions League final, up against Liverpool. And let me tell you, this Liverpool side looks phenomenal. A prime Moledo, prime Castro, prime Rodrigo. And even still have the likes of Florian Wirtz and Gravenberch sitting on the bench. And when it comes to the top goal scorers, Moledo is the top goal scorer of the Champions League alongside our two players in Parrot and Esposito. But don't let those 9 goals fool you, because he has 36 goals and 7 in all competitions. Jay Robinson, 21-1, our old player, man. And Rodrigo has 15-10. Liverpool are a super team. But of course, we're also a super team, as Esposito got 29-7, 25-1 for Parrot, 20-2 for Fratesi, 16-15 for Yildiz, and even 12-4 for Mikey Moore. But this is going to be our UCL final lineup, as Fratesi is suspended, 1 game away from becoming the world's best manager. Through ball all the way into Troy Parrott. He beats Federico Di Marco 1v1 with a finish. It goes in. Who else but Troy Parrott to give us a 1-0 lead? But now in the second half, here come Liverpool. They're not ready to give in just yet. Nioni gives it all the way to Dominic Szoboszlai, who finds Mohamed Salah, gives it to Jay Robinson with a shot. It goes in. It's a brilliant finish from our former player. 1-1 now in the final. Carboni gives it to Barcola, back into Carboni, who gives it to Bradley Barcola, lays it off into Esposito. Esposito, Pablo Barrios, through ball all the way into Troy Parrott, takes the touch, has a header, and it goes in. It's a scrappy goal, but it might just be the winner of the Champions League. And the referee blows the whistle. We have done it. We lift the Champions League trophy, as I've gone from a youth coach all the way to the world's best manager. If you guys enjoyed this video, click on the screen and watch me play the entire career of Esteval.